I'm a civil engineer by trade, the kind of person whose life revolves around creating bridges, massive, durable structures designed to connect places and endure anything life hurls at them. For a long time, I believed I was building a metaphorical bridge in my personal life too, one that connected me with my fiancée. We were only about 3 months away from the big day, and everything was falling into place. Invitations had gone out, deposits were locked in, and we were knee-deep in what her parents proudly referred to as the social event of the season. For me, though, it was more like the event draining my savings account dry. Everything seemed to be fine, or at least as fine as things can get when you're debating whether ivory, cream, or eggshell beige is the superior napkin color. Then came a Tuesday night that shifted everything. We were lounging on the couch, scrolling through catering websites. I was passionately making my case for a mashed potato bar when she suddenly set her phone aside and gave me that look. You know, the dreaded, "we need to talk" stare that turns your stomach into concrete. What came next was a carefully rehearsed speech. She assured me she loved me, that she couldn't wait to marry me. Of course, she sprinkled in all the right affirmations. But then came the inevitable but. She confessed that old feelings for her college ex, the guy she'd dated for 4 years before me, were resurfacing. She twisted my great-great-grandmother's ring on her finger as she explained. "It's not what you think," she insisted. "I don't want to be with him. It's just, there's this ghost in the room. I can't give you 100% of myself until I close that chapter. I need to see him, talk to him, and put it to rest, for us." Her plan was simple enough on paper. He lived several states away. She'd fly out the next weekend, have a dinner, talk it over, and finally say goodbye. She laid it out like she was confessing something noble. Her big eyes looked so earnest, but behind them, I saw what was really happening. She expected me to explode, to forbid her from going. She had already scripted out how she'd accuse me of jealousy and control issues, and she would have leveraged my reaction as justification to do whatever she wanted anyway. It was a test, and she already had the answer she wanted locked and loaded. Instead, I just sat there quietly. In that silence, I suddenly saw the fragile scaffolding of our relationship for what it really was. Every crack, every weak joint, every hidden fracture became clear. And with that clarity, I knew what needed to be done. "Okay," I said calmly. She blinked in confusion, her carefully rehearsed counterarguments dissolving before she could speak them. "What?" she asked, startled. "Okay," I repeated, forcing a casual tone as I picked the menu back up. "If that's what you need to do, go ahead. Now, about these mashed potatoes, bacon bits are non-negotiable, right?" The confusion on her face was priceless. She'd prepared for war, and I'd surrendered before the first bullet left the chamber. She muttered something vague about toppings and spent the rest of the night staring at me like I was an unsolvable puzzle. Over the next few days, she was extra affectionate, laying on the love thick, constantly telling me how my trust and understanding just proved we were meant for each other. I smiled and nodded, playing the role of the unshakably secure fiancé. By Friday morning, she had her flight booked, leaving that day and returning Sunday night. The night before, she kissed me passionately at the door, whispering, "I'll be back Sunday, ready to be yours forever." She was staying at a friend's place to be closer to the airport. As soon as her car disappeared down the driveway, my facade fell away. I walked into my home office, sat down, and got to work. At 9 a.m. sharp Friday morning, I made my first call. "Hi," I said to the wedding coordinator. "I'm calling about the my last name / her last name wedding. We need to cancel." There was a pause. The coordinator hesitated, asking if I was sure. Maybe we'd prefer to postpone. "No, cancel is correct," I confirmed, my voice steady. "And yes, I'm fully aware the $10,000 deposit is non-refundable. Please consider it a donation." In my head, I labeled it her closure fee. One after another, I worked my way down the vendor list. The photographer, the caterer, the band. More deposits dissolved into nothingness, and I mentally categorized each one as part of the unresolved feelings tax. With that done, I sat at my computer, typed up a direct, concise email, and sent it to the entire guest list. Due to unforeseen circumstances, the wedding of my name and her name has been canceled. We sincerely apologize for any inconvenience. Next came the apartment. Legally, it was my house, purchased long before she ever moved in. I went straight to her closet. Every dress, pair of shoes, and handbag went into boxes. In the bathroom, I swept her makeup and skincare products into another container. I gathered the countless decorative pillows she insisted on covering the couch with. I made sure not to damage anything. Methodically, I packed her entire life into neat, stackable boxes. The last task was the ring. But this wasn't just any piece of jewelry. It was a symbol of a century of happy marriages in my family. It represented loyalty, commitment, and heritage. It belonged with us, not on the hand of a woman flying across states to spend a weekend with her ex. I drove to the bank, slipped it back into its original box, and locked it inside my safe deposit box. I didn't call her. I didn't text to check if her flight was safe. I simply worked and stayed silent. I thought I had all the information I needed, but fate had other plans. Saturday afternoon, my phone buzzed with an unfamiliar number. I almost ignored it, but something in my gut told me to answer. "Is this my name?" a trembling female voice asked. "Yes," I said cautiously. "I'm so sorry to be calling you," she began. "I'm his wife." That word wife hit me like a physical punch. My fiancé had left out a critical detail. Her ex wasn't single. I felt my voice hollow out. "He told her he was single," I muttered. "That's what he told her," the wife confirmed, her own voice cracking as she began to cry. "But I found their texts. They've been talking for months. This trip wasn't her idea alone. They planned it together. They even called it their farewell tour before she got, well, locked down with a safe, boring guy." Her words, not mine. I sat frozen as she explained further. My fiancé had been conspiring with him for months. The trip was no noble search for closure. It was their final fling. He had lied to his wife, claiming he was on a solo fishing trip, while they booked a fancy hotel suite together. The woman told me she'd seen my number in his phone and felt I had the right to know. We talked for a while longer, two strangers bound by betrayal. I told her about the wedding being canceled, about the steps I'd already taken. There was a strange solidarity between us, a shared wound from the two people we trusted most. When the call ended, I sat in silence, surrounded by towers of boxes. My carefully planned, calm operation suddenly pulsed with a new kind of energy. Righteous anger. This wasn't just about cold feet. This was deliberate, long-term deception. By Sunday evening, I heard her key slide into the lock. "Honey, I'm home," she called, cheerful and carefree. She tugged her little overnight bag behind her, smiling with satisfaction, until her eyes landed on the boxes stacked neatly in the living room. Her smile collapsed instantly. Her gaze darted from the cardboard boxes to the stripped walls to the empty space where her books once sat. Finally, her eyes found me, sitting calmly in my armchair. "What is this?" she whispered, panic creeping into her voice. "What happened? Did we have a leak? Are you redecorating?" "That's your stuff," I said evenly. "I packed it for you. Figured moving out might be easier this way." She dropped her bag with a heavy thud. "Moving out? What are you talking about? Is this some kind of joke? Are you punishing me for going away?" "Punishing you?" I raised an eyebrow. "No, this isn't punishment. It's a consequence. So, how was your trip? Get the closure you needed?" She shifted gears, slipping into her victim role. "It was difficult, emotional, but it was what I needed for our future. And this is how you thank me? By packing my life up because you're too insecure to trust me?" "Oh, I'm not insecure," I replied, rising to face her. "I'm informed. Funny thing, I got a call yesterday, from a lovely woman. You probably wouldn't know her name. She's your ex's wife." The blood drained from her face instantly. She opened and closed her mouth, speechless. "She told me everything?" I continued, my voice dangerously calm. "The hotel suite, the farewell tour, the texts about how boring I am. Seems like your trip wasn't about closure. It was about rewriting your story. So, did you get what you needed?" Her shock snapped into rage. "You had no right. You shouldn't have spoken to her. You ruined everything with your paranoia." "No," I corrected, shaking my head. "You ruined it the moment you planned a romantic getaway with a married man. But you're right, I did do something. On Friday, I canceled the wedding. The venue, the caterer, the photographer, gone. Guests have already been notified." Her jaw dropped. "You what? All that money? Our deposits?" Consider it the cost of your adventure, I said coldly. And I'll need the ring back. She covered her hand. No, it was a gift. It's mine. It was a conditional gift, I countered. On the promise of a marriage you destroyed. That ring is my great-great-grandmother's. It belongs in my family. Hand it over. She screamed, You can't make me. And I'm not leaving. This is my home too. This is my house, I corrected calmly. And you are no longer welcome. I've already spoken with a lawyer. An eviction notice will be delivered tomorrow. You'll have 30 days. After that, the sheriff will remove you. That's when the meltdown truly began. Screams, sobs, begging. All of it. Her parents soon called. Her mother pleaded tearfully, calling it a silly mistake. Her father tried intimidation, telling me I was a fool who'd never find anyone as good as his daughter. I remained polite but firm. Your daughter cheated 3 months before our wedding. That's not a mistake. It's a reflection of who she is. This relationship is over. Weeks of manipulative games followed. Apologies, anger, therapy promises, threats to smear me as abusive. It was endless. But I stayed resolute. She wasn't sorry for cheating. She was furious her perfect plan had collapsed. In the end, the eviction notice and a sharp letter from my lawyer regarding the ring finally broke her defiance. On the last possible day, she arrived with her father and a U-Haul. She left the ring with him to hand back to me, too ashamed to do it herself. Through the grapevine, I later heard her ex's wife filed for divorce, backed by mountains of evidence. So my fiancé's little closure trip ended with 2 broken relationships, a pile of boxes, and consequences she couldn't escape. Now, my apartment is quiet, but it's not an empty silence anymore. It's peace.